Shalom, shalom, Bawakar Mashbaka, Ya Barakakum, Yahweh Basham, Hamashiach Yahushai. Blessed day to you all. We're going to be doing a Torah portion recap from yesterday. I just want to give a salute to our fellow laborer in this way, named Joshua Isaac. All right. Some of you may know him as Yahushai, Yahushai. We know him as Joshua Isaac in the city gates of Dayton, Ohio, by way of Columbus, Ohio. It's truly a blessing to be a fellow minister with that brother, man. That brother the other day did the Shabbat class, and while on my end we were having severe technical difficulties. The water, Rashwan, appreciate you. While we were having severe technical difficulties, that brother held the whole Torah portion teaching on his back, you know, and it was a beautiful thing too, because we got to see him operate with his household. We got to see him operate, you know, Scripture says how pleasant it is for brethren to dwell in unity, and it was just beautiful to see, you know, that this ministry it's so much better when you have partners to work with. All right. Absolutely beautiful. So we're going to give it a little bit for Mashbakayim to come in. We're going to talk about the basics, you know, of the Torah portion. I'm going to pull up Yahushai and Joshua Isaac's Torah portion reading, you know, and giving, and just to show some of the some recaps from it, you know. And we're going to give time for family members and friends to come in. All right, shalom, shalom, shalom. Byron Reeves, shalom. Most I bless, Prince. Shalom, shalom. All right. So for those of you who don't know, what we do is we regularly read the Torah portion throughout the week until we get to the Shabbat. Then when we get to the Sabbath, well, what we're supposed to do is we're supposed to study the Torah all week. And then when we get to the Saturday, the seventh day of the week, which is called the Sabbath, which is the holy day of the Most High God, all week we're supposed to be going through and mentally having our minds set on studying the Torah portion. Hey, I got a question for you, Rashwan Rob. There's two different Torah portions. You think you can find both of them? There's two different Torah portions for this week. Can you find both of them and post both of them so the people can see what it is? All right, so the people can see and understand the Torah portions. All right, Baba Kushah, and again, shalom to you, Byron Reeves. So we're going to start with the reading of the Torah portion. All right, now the Torah portion was done yesterday, and it was done by our wonderful brother HAFTARAH Yahushai. All right, and I'm going to share a portion of his video that he did. It was absolutely wonderful. You know, I was able to rest. My family was able to rest. Now, unfortunately, I wasn't able to do the Torah portion alongside with HAFTARAH Yahushai, but we were able to partake in it by seeing it, you know, from his work, from his labors that he was doing. All right. So if you didn't get a chance to see the Torah portion, let me share this Facebook with you real quick. All right. This is the Facebook of a very powerful, very beautiful brother in his ministry. All right. His name is Joshua Isaac. I'm going to put the link right here. You want to go to his Facebook. You want to subscribe to his Facebook. All right. He's a part of what's called HAFTARAH Yashala, also known as the government of Israel. There's the link. Oh, wait, excuse me. Here's the link right here. As you see, it's facebook.com/sergeant.s. Joshua.s.sergeant. Okay, so you want to subscribe to his Facebook. All right, get to know that brother. Very beautiful, very powerful minister in the truth, sincere spirit. All right, so as we go through, this is what his Facebook looks like. All right, the brother does amazing music, man. So I think this is the image for his newest album cover. All right, so Joshua Isaac, and this was yesterday's Torah portion. Okay, so let me bring this up on screen. All right, let's get some audio. Get some audio. So what we see is we see mashpacha, we see family.
This week's Torah portion is called HAFTARAH, which is pertaining to leprosy. Okay, Zara means leper. Okay, we're gonna go through. We're gonna tap into leprosy. Here you have an Israelite here, and the scientific term today is called vitiligo. It's when we're gonna go into it.
Real quick, I met a sister this throughout last week, and she had vitiligo on her face and on her arms, and I was looking at her. I was like, well, she was a beautiful sister. But as I was looking at her, I was like, wow, you got leprosy, you know. And as a Shatari Hawashai, and I'm not gonna play this whole video, but what I will do is I'll make sure that everybody has access to it. And I'm looking to see if I can close this side of my window. I guess I can't. Can I? Oh, man. I don't know how to hide it. I wanted to just make this screen large.
Let me start the class.
I guess I can.
So this will be considered a leper today. You got vitiligo. It's an Israelite brother. You got a garment on. Okay. And then you have an Israelite sister here.
Yeah, that's actually what the sister's face looked like. Her name was Deanna. Deanna, beautiful sister, man. At a restaurant. All right, restaurant. I went to go and get some food at, man, of course. But she had what's called vitiligo, certain discoloration, you know, certain marks, you know. So as we see, Shatari Hawashai is bringing out excellent edification.
She will be considered a leopard as well. And this is called Zara'ai. Zara'ai.
All right, so Zara'ai is for leopard. Now, if you have anybody in your family, any friends that you know that have this discoloration in their skin, then today they still are considered leopards. All right, they're still considered to have leprosy in the Bible. All right, leprosy does come in different forms. One of the forms is a discoloration to where our melanin has been taken away, and we'll see that in the scriptures in a moment.
Okay, or Zara'ah. Okay, that's how you say leopard in ancient Hebrew, Paleo Hebrew. Okay. We're going to go into a little bit of anatomy of the skin, dealing with the Slovakia. It's backwards. I couldn't read it. The epidermis, which is the top layer of the skin. We're going to deal with leprosy, phasing the top layer of the skin, and we're going to go into the dermis layer as well. When, you know, go into leprosy when it affects and goes inside, the bacteria eats at the skin and goes deep within the dermis area where your sweat glands are, where your hair follicles are, where your blood vessels are. Okay, and then we're going to go into the hypodermis where your fat is.
So you see the edification the brother's bringing out. So let me get this link and let me share this link, and we're going to go to our StreamYard real quick. All right, I'm going to paste this right here so everybody will be able to go and see and get this video for themselves. The brother is an excellent teacher, and then alongside with that, you know, he's teaching with his household, and that's something that we want to do. That's something that we want to see. We want to see the families of Yasharallah minister and teach together. Okay, so this is excellent. That's an excellent video. All right, so right there it says Sergeant /videos /139/4058531048 All right, so that's the video. If you want to check out Sergeant's or excuse me, Yahushai, if you want to check out his Torah portion lesson on being unclean, which was this week's Torah portion. Okay, so again, we have this week's Torah portion is going to be Leviticus chapter 14, verse 1 through verse 15. All right, and what's called the HAFTARAH is 2 Kings chapter 7, verse 3 through verse 20. It's an amazing story on how there were lepers, as we see men who had lost their discoloration. All right, and they were outside of the city of Jerusalem, and they were not able to come inside the city, and there was a famine in the city, so they were dying. Okay, they were dying of hunger. And while Israel was at war, the Most High, we were at war with the Syrians. The Most High made the leopards, I'm sorry, not the leopards. He made the Syrians, the people we were at war with. He made them to hear, the people who we were at war with, he made them to hear a sound of a great army coming to them. The Most High made them have a delusion. So what they did was, out of fear, they left everything they had. It's an amazing story. Now, I just want to show you all real quick, okay? I just want to show you all real quick the tricks that the white man plays, okay? When we say white man, we mean the powers that be, okay? I'm gonna start. I'm gonna say we already got a screen share up. Let me do this. If you go to Google and you put in the word leprosy, right? You put in the word leprosy, okay? Another really good search engine is DuckDuckGo. That's a very good search engine. All right, they show you really cool information. If you go to Google and you put in leprosy, you will see other things. You'll see certain stuff like this right here. You'll see bumps on the skin. They'll say, okay, well, this is leprosy. Okay, all right, okay. Herpes is a form of leprosy. All right. So you'll see stuff like that. All right, chronic curable infectious disease, mainly causing skin lesions and nerve damage. Okay, so if you look up leprosy and you do it by the Europeans' definition of what leprosy is, see, they'll never really tell you all of the truth. They'll just show you some of the truth. Okay, so let's go to images. I'm going to close this window down. Let's go to images. And you see all of these images of, you know, leprosy, people having skin issues, discoloration. You see discoloration, leprosy. You'll see things like this. People with, you know, I don't know, that man's hands could have been chopped off. Bright lesions, bright spots. All right. Hey, I got a hole in my foot. Really sorry to see that. You know, hey, my fingers are, you know, arthritic. Disease, microbe, bacteria, all these things, you know, leprosy in Iran, leprosy scientist in a monkey. All right, this person has obvious bone issues. All right, facing the stigma of leprosy, face leprosy. So these are the things that you'll see. All right, when you see leprosy, okay, if you just do a random Google search. But what you won't see too common is what the biblical term of leprosy is. And that's the crazy part about it. All right. So let's do this real quick. Let's say I'm gonna type in a word. Let's type in the word Caucasian. Okay. So I'll just type in the word Caucasian, and what's gonna come up, all right, will be images of Caucasians. Why did I type in Caucasian and the shepherd dog popped up? All right, so you have Caucasian and so-called African colored, Caucasian race. All right, you have these different images, and this is all I really wanted, was to show the hue, the skin color. All right, this is a really good one, just a regular Japanese Caucasian. All right, facial. What people don't tell you is that Europeans or Caucasians, who we commonly call Edomites, they are pretty much the basic format of what a person with leprosy has. See, Europeans, Caucasians, Edomites, as we so-called white people, you know, Caucasian people coming from the Caucasus Mountains. Okay, this boy got on a Siberian poodle hat. That's crazy, I guess. So European people who are Caucasian, in other words, they actually have leprosy. They have leprosy from head to foot. They are what's called a clean leopard. Okay, they're called clean leopards. Okay, white skin of European origin. Okay, a white person, a person of European origin, a person from the Caucasus. All right, so yes, the word Caucasian does come from Caucasus. All right, look, the Caucasus and southern Russia is why they call themselves Caucasians. And I remember when I was younger, you know, I just thought it was just the right thing to do. Say white, black, Caucasus, Caucasians. You know, I didn't know that Caucasians was referring to the people who come from the mountains. So when we read the Bible and when we see that Esau in the book of Obadiah are the people that come from the mountains, and it's like, yo, what that really does show today's natural Europeans. What does Caucasian really mean? Why is that boy crying? I might have to look this one up. Yeah, it means y'all come from the Caucasus Mountains. Now, this isn't at all a race theory thing or nothing like that. It means that, you know, your people are descendants or are tied or attached to the people from the Caucasus Mountains and the Caucasians. You know, it look like you got the hillbillies here, not trying to be funny, and you have, you know, the Russian, you know, Europeans. I mean, it's literally the same group of people. All they do is just move from different locations and they change their names, but it's the same group of people from the book of Obadiah. All right, they that dwell in the clefts of the rocks. All right, so again, that's HAFTARAH Hawashai's page, so make sure y'all link in with him. Okay, now let's get this real quick. I'm going to open up a search and I want to show y'all something. Flavius Josephus, Antiquities of the Jews, book number 3, chapter 11. That's not what I said, but that's not what I said. We should be able to find it. So we're going to go to Flavius Josephus, Antiquities of the Jews. Let's try that again. Flavius Josephus.
According to Wikipedia, Flavius Josephus was a first-century Romano-Jewish historian and military leader, best known for the Jewish War, who was born in Jerusalem, then part of Roman Judea, to a father of priestly descent and a mother who claimed royal ancestry.
Now, if you all don't know who Flavius Josephus is, real quick, Tawada, thank you, Google, personal Gentile servant, all right, GPS. All right, so Flavius Josephus, that was real quick. Excellent historian. Now, these images don't nowhere near match. I think this is a statue of Nero, you know, but these images don't nowhere near match. Flavius Josephus was a Negro, all right, and that's what Europeans do. They paint their faces on everything, which is so sad because they're the ones that have leprosy, but they want to make everybody white. All right, it's called whitewashing, but we're going to learn about leprosy in the scriptures today. Hold on. Flavius Josephus, Antiquities of the Jews. Man, that's not what I'm saying. So what's going on? Flavius Josephus, Antiquities of the Jews, book number 3, chapter 11. That's completely not what I'm saying, but let's see if we can just go ahead and go to it. I seen another brother doing that. He was doing a search, and everything he said, he was, hey Siri, and everything he said on Siri's Antiquities. So his book number, let me see. This is a really good website to use. It's called Perseus. Those who undertake histories, I perceive. Let's see. After the death of Isaac, their sons are divided. All right, Flavius Josephus, Antiquities of the Jews, book number 3, and let's go to. Let's see if we can pull it up like this. Sodomites grew proud. All right, the Most High is truly good. Adultery. I'm not finding what I want. I might just have to pull it out of a book, which I have the book right here. I was just hoping to be able to share it with you on the screen. Share it with you all on the screen. Yahweh is truly good. Hallelujah. Here we go. We found it. Amen. All praise the Most High. Yeah, man. Don't stop till you get enough. All right. So let's look at this real quick. All right. So now remember what we just looked at was just a few pictures of Caucasians and leprosy. All right. Caucasian, the definition. All right. All right. And what HAFTARAH Hawashai was doing on his video was he was showing, you know, how the bacteria goes down into the skin and it eats away at melanin. All right. How it eats away at our melanin and it causes our melanin to change from dark to white color. All right. Medical condition, vitiligo. So today, these are very good images of vitiligo. One of my favorite rappers back in the day, he's not my favorite rapper anymore, but his name was Chris Calico, and he was a rapper from Kansas City who has vitiligo, and that's a part of his testimony. Chris Calico, vitiligo. All right, so here goes some images of him. All right, Chris Calico. All right, he did an amazing album called Weight. You know, he talked about dealing with his weight problem. He's just very exposed. He did the whole D'Angelo thing, except for showing that, hey, I got body fat, you know, adipose tissue. But here's his face. He has vitiligo. So Chris Calico is a very popular leopard. But on top of that, the man got go. Like he can spit, he can flow. Like he really got skills. But you know, a lot of his music really isn't worth listening to because it's not set apart. It's not holy. It's not representing the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, which is crazy because, of course, he grew up in the church. But, you know, he shows that, you know, the world of wickedness, the world of wickedness was more appealing to him. So these are images of what today modern leprosy is. All right. Discoloration of the skin, vitiligo. Now, as far as what I know, it doesn't itch. It doesn't hurt. You know, it's just that your skin color. This is a very good, beautiful picture. Very good, beautiful picture of a sister with vitiligo. All right. That's a great picture. So if you can think of the story of Miriam in the scriptures, Miriam was Moses' sister. All right. Moses, Masha, his sister lost her skin complexion. All right. The Most High made her completely blank slate, which was terrifying. Had to be terrifying to see. You know, another form of vitiligo is, or leprosy is, let's see, albinoism, skin condition. So this is another form of leprosy, all right, having albinoism, okay? So if you know any friends or family who have albino, and they put these black dots over their eyes because when they take the flashes, their eyes, you know, it glows, it hit the, you know, they don't have those receptors, so their eyes glow pink, you know, in the light. So these are vitiligo victims, albino victims to, you know, to the purest degree. All right. I mean, no color, you know, sensitive to sunlight. Now, there was an Israelite that was in the truth. See, having no color, not even in the eyeballs. Now, don't you know that your color receptors in your skin help to absorb vitamin D? Not having these color receptors make you sensitive to the skin. We need the sun to receive vitamin D. That's a very beautiful picture of a sister with vitiligo. Maybe it's just her facial construct is beautiful, man. Beautiful, beautiful. Beautiful, see? But, you know, just no skin complexion. All right. So these are modern day forms of leprosy. Look at, wow, beautiful. Wow, look at that. The marking is very distinctive. So when people say, you know, now here goes something else. People that have skin color can produce children that don't have skin color. But if two Europeans, two Caucasians come together, it's very rare, few and far in between that they would produce a child that's completely melanated. Not to say that it can't happen, but it's very rare, very few, far in between. Now, these are images of leprosy, leprous people. Okay, that's hard. Wow, this is a hard picture. That's hard. How they got the two braids going together, got head up, head down. That's hard. I really like that picture. That's very artistic. I'm going to hold on to that one. All right. Now, let's see what the scriptures say about vitiligo, about leprosy, and then eventually about Caucasians. Okay, so let's see. Now, I hope everybody's paying attention. You can see the screen very well. All right. And salute, Shalom. You said, my niece says she is absolutely beautiful. My niece is, and she is absolutely, absolutely. Saying we have family members. We have family members who are who have leprosy. We have family members who have vitiligo. We have grandmothers, grandsons. Now, this does not change anything about them spiritually. It just shows us their social standing in the government of Yasharahla, even in the biblical. And see, it's important for them to know this. It's important for them to know this. It's important for us to know this. Okay. All right. It's important for them to know this. It's important for us to know this. So I have family members that, you know, I have Caucasian family members, you know, that were married into our family, you know, and they're leopards. There's no way around it. Europeans, Caucasians, Edomites, they have leprosy. All right. People with vitiligo, albinoism, they have leprosy. All right. And again, the people that have these skin conditions, they can be, you know, it's the makeup of the person on the inside. All right. Absolutely beautiful. All right. But let's get back to this real quick. All right. Now, I am not doing any bashing. I'm not doing any race bashing. What I'm doing is we will be reading the biblical context so we can understand not everything was for everybody, nor was everybody allowed to be involved in everything. If you had leprosy, you would not be allowed, or if you had vitiligo, or if you had albinoism, you would not be allowed to partake in certain things with the rest of the children of Israel. You would have to be on the outside. And when we read this week's Torah portion, we see albinoism, we see menstrual cycle, we see blood, and we see dealing with the dead body. This is also why I speak against IUIC and Sakari's doctrine of being able to have sex on the Shabbat and also going to the Shabbat when you're on your menstrual cycle. Now, I know a lot of people have love and respect for IUIC, and maybe it's just whatever it is, but you know, it can't be what they're doing according to the Torah. According to the Torah, IUIC has publicly taught, Israel United in Christ has publicly taught that you can come to the Shabbat when you're in your menstrual cycle. And I believe that this may even include the Passover. So as glorious and beautiful dressed as that Passover video that everybody's seeing, how many women are on a menstrual cycle? How many women or men in there have had sex on the Passover and they just got on beautiful garments and the whole Passover is defiled? Like Christ said, they're like whited sepulchres. On the outside beautiful, but on the inside full of dead men's bones. We have to learn how to be set apart and not be tama'ah. So let's look at this real quick. This is the book of Flavius Josephus, all right? Josephus, and then it says AJ, which means Antiquities of the Jews, book 3, chapter 11, section 3, okay? So it says what? He also ordered that those whose bodies were afflicted with leprosy and had a gonorrhea should not come into the city. And in case you didn't know, yes, gonorrhea is in the Bible, all right? It's a bacteria that you can contract, and it's from biblical days all the way up to now. Gonorrhea ain't going nowhere anytime soon, but all praise the Most High, you don't have to die from it anymore, okay? So leprosy ain't going away anytime soon. And then we see the word afflicted, okay? So let's do this real quick. We're going to get the word afflicted alone. We're going to get this word alone. We're going to isolate it. I'm going to put it over here. All right, we're going to boom, pow. All right, we're going to get afflicted, get the definition of the word afflicted. All right. Afflicted, past tense, past participle, afflicted, all right, of problems or illness, cause pain or suffering, afflict or trouble, okay? So we see to be afflicted is to be problem or to be bothered by something, okay? Now watch this. All right, afflicted with the leprosy. So afflicted with the discoloration of the skin. Okay, so if you have albinoism, or if you have vitiligo, or even if you are Caucasian, you are afflicted with leprosy. All right, so whether they would like to admit it or not, the sun does not agree with them. All right, the sun does not agree with people who have low to no melanin. All right, to where opposed to very dark-skinned people with our complexion, we can receive more sunlight. We do better. I love the summertime. I love the summertime. You know, in summertime, I feel like I could run and fly. I said that in one of my verses. In my verse, I said, look at them baloney bubble. They fry and die. We go out in the summertime and feel like we can run and fly because we are solar powered people. Okay. All right. So it says what? Those afflicted with the leprosy and the gonorrhea should not come into the city. All right, so that's what we're going to see with this week's Torah portion. There were some men who had leprosy, and they were not allowed to come into the city. The same thing we seen with Miriam, Moses' sister. When she was afflicted with the leprosy, she had to stay outside of the city. Watch this. Nay, he removed all the women when they had their natural purgations. Okay, when the women are on their periods, their monthly flower, their natural purgations, Masha removed them. They were not allowed to come to the holy convocations. They were not allowed to come into the Passover. They were not allowed to come into the Shabbat. I don't know why I pulled that up. All right. All right. Let me see. All right. Let's see if this pulls up anything. All right. Maintain natural purification, soil natural. Okay. All right. So I'm not getting anything. I just want to see if anything will pop up, but I could do this real quick. All right. Here, let me see. Let me see. Purification. Let's say of. So the natural purgation of women, church. Okay. Customs, church, and liturgy, right? Purification after birth, child perform women's first visit church after giving birth. I think I found a new book that I'm going to purchase. All right. Ready to pay? All right. Secrets, nature. All right. This natural purgation filled with many humors and much blood. Okay. So we know that the natural purgation deals with the woman and her menstrual cycle. All right. Wow. Okay. Female purity. Let me see. Jewish Women's Archive. All right. Women experience or irregular natural purgation. All right. Let's get this real quick. Now I'm just having fun researching. Let's study together. All right. We okay. All right, so we can see the Hebrew word nadah. Now, here's what's funny, man. When it comes to English, I cannot read English very well and translate it to Hebrew. But when I see them characters, I'm like, oh, yeah, that's nadah. That's nadah. All right, nadah describes a woman who has experienced a uterine discharge of blood, most commonly during menstruation. Okay, all right. So menstruation is a regular discharge of blood and mucosal tissue from the inner lining of the uterus through the vagina. The menstrual cycle is characterized by the rise and fall of hormones. Menstruation is triggered by following progesterone levels and is a sign of pregnancy has not occurred. Okay, so we see that the word nadah has to deal with the woman's menstrual cycle. All right, I'm going to be studying this later. All right, in the book of Leviticus, Torah prohibits sexual intercourse with nadah. All right, we usually say tama'ah, or we say dam for blood. We say tama'ah for unclean. All right. But I'm going to start using the word nadah. All right. So I'm going to do some more research on this real quick because I feel like, this could really help us to lead into some more understanding. All right. So we know that there are a few things that we do not do during the time frame of nadah or during the time frame of the menstrual cycle, the flow of the flower. All right. We do not have sex. We do not go to holy convocations. All right. And these are the reasons being because of this is because we want to be set apart. We want to be clean. All right. So Shalom Yashallah, it's your brother Christ Isaiah Ban Yashallah. And as always, we're back at it like Torah addicts out of rehab. So we're learning what this week's Torah portion was relating to. This week's Torah portion was relating to being tama'ah, to being clean, and to being unclean. That's right. Natural purgation. All right. So I'm going to pull back up the Torah portion reading. All right. And then Tawala for everybody who's been assisting and who's been helping in this ministry. And again, salute to our brother Yahushua, Joshua Isaac, for him holding down the Torah portion, teaching the Torah portion. Excellent. Man, that brother did an excellent job, man. It was beautiful to see him operate. All right, so let's get back to Flavius Josephus. Josephus says, nay, he removed the women when they had the natural purgations till the 7th day, after which he looked on them as pure and permitted them to come again. The law permits those also who have taken care of funerals to come in after the same manner. So in other words, after a person has done 7 days of purification, then they can come back into the community. Okay. when this numbers of days is over. But if any continue longer than that number of days in a state of pollution, the law appointed an offering of 2 lambs for a sacrifice, the one of which they are to purge by fire, and the other the priests take it for themselves. All right. In the same manner, those who sacrifice, in the same manner do those sacrifice who have had the gonorrhea. But he that sheds his seed in his sleep, or in other words, if he has a nocturnal emission. And see, this is something that's very unfair that IUIC has publicly taught. They teach that you can have sex on the Sabbath. They teach that if a woman is on a menstrual cycle, she can come to the Shabbat class. And that's very unfair, and it's not true. It's not accurate when we can obviously read, not only right here in Josephus' Antiquities of the Jews, and it's so disappointing because the so-called elders, which I say so-called because that's what they're so-called, but are you really an elder if you're teaching people to be unclean around everybody? I think you're a coward. I think you're afraid to tell the people the actual truth and say, no, woman, you cannot come, because they don't want to deal with the emotional influxes that women put them through, not being strong enough to handle them. But you have to show yourself to be a man. You can't weakly submit to your woman. And women know instinctively when they're unclean, they don't like to be around people. A lot of women don't like being touched. Some women, when they're on their menstrual cycle, they feel like they need to hug and cuddle and stuff like that, which is just like, go hug your pillow, go hug your teddy bear. You know, stay away from living objects, because your uncleanliness spreads that uncleanliness. And as we see, Masha, Moses, he told, it's not us, it's Masha, Moses. Where did Moses get his instructions from? Moses got his instructions from the God of everything. All right. When it says he also ordered that those whose bodies were afflicted with leprosy and the gonorrhea and the natural purgations, all right, the he is Masha. It's Moses, our great legislator. Moses got these instructions from the Most High himself. So you women, I really respect women who are unclean and they know how to be unclean and they know how to be set apart and they know how to not be around people. It's just a very mature and powerful thing to see, because they know how to dictate their selves and they know how to get by themselves. Women who don't know how to do this yet, they really have some spiritual growing up to do, no matter what age, whether they're young or whether they're old. And I salute my daughter, my Banath. Her name is Nakwa. I salute my Banath. She knows when she's Tama'ah that she's like, set apart, leave me alone. You know, set apart. I don't got to be around nobody. I get to be in my room. Ha, can't nobody mess with me. And she's right. You know, and she's right. And this is how women have to learn how to be. All right. So we can see the young women do it. We need to see the older women do it in a better and higher caliber. So let's see. Let me see. I was looking for some tissue, man. All right. Slackley. All right. Let's see. The one which are purged by fire, and the other, the priests take it for themselves. In the same manner do these sacrifices who have had the gonorrhea. Now, what is the gonorrhea? The gonorrhea is considered to be a running issue. All right. It's a discharge. It's a running issue. Okay. So the scriptures do tell us that we can and we will contract gonorrhea. You have to be careful. It's a bacteria, but it can be dispelled of. It's just like leprosy. It's not going away. Okay. So be very mindful, men. All right. Women, be very mindful. Your interior is a petri dish and it holds bacteria. And if your husband, you know, goes inside you during time frames where he shouldn't, you know, that can be contracted. The women are not designed to receive multiple penises. Okay. They're only designed to receive one penis. It's not, oh, be careful. You don't have sex with somebody. No, stick with your one rod. And if you're not having sex, just don't. Okay. Stick with your one husband. And that's the safest way to be. All right. All right. So again, women are made to receive and men are made to actually input or, you know, be the givers. All right. But at no point in time were women ever designed to receive a bunch of different bacterias. All right. Stick with your one husband. All right. So let's see. He says, okay. So we see what? But he that sheds his seed in his sleep. All right. So he that sheds his seed in his sleep is the one who has a nocturnal emission, or as they call it, a wet dream. All right. If you go down into cold water, has the same privilege of that who have lawfully accompanied with their wives. So a person who has what they call today a wet dream is called a nocturnal emission by more accurate terminology. A man who has a nocturnal emission, or he sleep, you know, he's not a sexually active person, and he, what is that? That was the best dream ever. And he wake up, he looking around for the girl that he saw in his dreams. Look up, looking around. What just happened? Lord, did I do something wrong? It's a weird feeling. It's a weird feeling. So the Most High, he tells us out of from the instructions of Mashah, he says the man who has a nocturnal emission is just like he had sex with a woman. So he's unclean and he's to bathe at sundown. He's not to come to a holy convocation. So this also shows us that IUIC is incorrect in their teaching. When a woman is on her period and when you have sex, you are both unclean for these reasons. You are not to go to the Passover. You're not to go to the Shabbat. Okay. No, and then it's so ignorant how they call us, you know, names. They call us stupid and dumb for teaching people to not go to the Sabbath unclean. I'm gonna have to deal with, I'm gonna have to address this issue. All right, but let's finish this up, man. All right. And for the lepers, he suffered them not to come into the city at all. All right, nor to live with any others, as if they were in effect dead persons. All right, now why is this important? All right, why is this important? Because when we look at this week's Torah portion, we find out that Mashah, Moses, his instructions lasted not only back then, but all the way up to now. Hey, Shalom Yadadiah, man, greatly appreciate you, man. It's a blessing to see you. Yadadiah Yasharallah. All right, it's a blessing to see you. Thawada for your ministry. Thawada for all the work that you do for the government, man. All right, for your whole nationality. All right, we appreciate you and we respect you, man. So the Most High bless you, keep you, make his face to shine upon you, of course. So I'm going to get and as you see, I just put the HAFTARAH, the Torah portion on the screen. I'm going to get 2 Kings chapter 7 real quick. So let me pull that up. All right, so 2 Kings chapter 7, KJV, Blue Letter Bible. All right. So we're going to get 2 Kings chapter 7, and then I'm going to start from the beginning. And what we're going to do is we're going to see how the lepers were. And again, this was this week's Torah portion. All right, this was this week's Torah portion. We're going to see how the lepers were outside of the city. They were not allowed in the city. Just like in Jerusalem, New Jerusalem, the outer court will be for the Gentiles, but they won't have access to what we'll have access to. Just like in their kingdom, our parents were not allowed to walk on the sidewalks. Our parents weren't allowed to sit at the restaurant table. You know, we had to ride in the back of the bus. That's how it's going to be with them in the new kingdom. They're unclean. They're lepers. All right. But not only that, we have to keep this in mind that the Father is just, he's righteous, and he's true in all of his decisions. So if the Father says something, that's just what it is. But the point of saying so is to say we have to learn how to be more we have to learn how to use more discipline. That's not the word I was looking for. We have to learn how to use more discipline. I'll yield with that one. Whenever we are in our seasons of being unclean. So me and my household, the house of Karatazaya, when you tama'ah, you tama'ah. You don't cook for me. You don't hug me. You don't, I mean, if you just had a baby, of course, I'm going to nurture you. I'm going to decide when I choose to be unclean or not. All right. Not you. I just need a hug. Okay. Well, all praise the Most High. Well, spend this time with the Father right now. And listen, brothers, the scripture says, as one plucketh the eye to cause tears to fall, so does he pluck the heart to show her knowledge. You have to teach your rib how to be strong. She may have went 30, 40, 50 years learning how to navigate on her own without actually having a biblical husband to say, no, these are the standards we're going to live by. And once you take on a woman, you're responsible for having to, correct her, whether it be sternly or whether it be softly. It's your responsibility. It's your job to be her head and to say yay or nay to her, just like in Numbers chapter 30. Once you become the husband, you have more authority than her biological father because now she's your possession. She's been given to you. Beforehand, her father was her possession, which the woman still belongs to the father, but the father doesn't have say-so over the husband. Once he enters into her, and once the deal is done, now she belongs to the man. So it's your job, to say yay, nay. So, of course, like I said, in my household, when we have any uncleanliness, I don't hug my children, and they recognize it. But you got to go through this process of teaching, excuse me, the difference between clean and unclean. OK, you have to go through the process of making sure that you show what's the holy and unholy, what's the clean and unclean. And if you don't do it, then you're a chump. You're a straight up chump. You was afraid to tell your family no or your children no. I walk in the house, if I'm talking about, I'll look at them in their face and I'll give them like a certain sign. I'll be like, when I say a certain sign, like they'll know it from my body gesture. Like my banyan, they love running up to me, hugging me. I love them running up to me and hugging me. I love hugging my yalagim. But, I'll usually take a step back. They're so used to me coming towards them and kissing them, when I have to take a step back and when I have to keep my body to myself, Shalom, and I'll give them an air dap. Shalom, abatama. And it processes to them like it's Paul's season for being in contact. It also teaches children the significance and the importance of them not being unclean. It teaches them, and it's it tag. I'm it. You don't want to be it. You want and I used to do that with my Yolanda, especially when they were younger. And that's a good thing to play. I'm unclean. I'm gonna touch you. I'm gonna catch you. You're gonna be unclean. They be like, I don't want to be unclean, and they'll run away from it. And you got to do these things to help them. I'm gonna make you don't want to be. I'm gonna make you gonna be unclean. And you got some Yolanda that's so loving. And it happened for it. But it's okay. I'll be unclean with you. Nah, because if you're unclean with me, then you can't play with your ak. You can't play with your aqua. You have to go upstairs to your room. You want to be in your room all day? You don't want to be in your room all day. So you have to do things like that to help them to be able to see the difference between clean and unclean, set apart, and holy and unholy. Okay. So let's see this real quick. This is the book of 2 Kings chapter 7, which was this week's Torah portion. Watch what it says. And Elijah said, hear the word of Yahweh. And thus saith Yahweh, tomorrow about this time shall a measure of flour be sold for a shekel. So we were having a famine in the land. Everybody was starving. And on top of that, we had a great war coming at us. The Syrians was coming to, the Sumerians, they were coming to fight against us. And so we got a war coming and we're hungry. Bad day in Jerusalem. So with that being said, the prophet says what? He says, about this time tomorrow, shall a measure of fine flour be sold for a shekel. So he says, about this time tomorrow, we ain't gonna have no more famine. We're gonna be able to have fine flour, the good flour. All right. Also, make sure you're getting all the leaven out of your house. All right. For those of you who already participated in Passover, the Feast of Unleavened Bread, you got to make sure that you study the Mazarat or the Matazawaf. You got to make sure you study the constellations. Passover always happens in the time frame of Aries. All right. So if you were doing a Passover, you know what? I pray that you had a great Passover. So the house of Karat Zaya in our local community will be participating around the 14th, 15th, 14th sundown, 15th. We'll be keeping the Pesach Passover. So make sure you're getting all your leaven and all of your yeast, not only out of your lives, but out of your hearts and out of your houses. All right. The scripture says there's to be no leaven found in our coasts. All right. So that doesn't mean put it in the closet, put it in the garage, put it in the trunk of the car. You'd be riding around with leaven in your trunk. The Most High says it's not supposed to be in your coast. So burn it, feed it to the ducks, do whatever you got to do, but get it out of your house. Okay. All right. And tomorrow about this time shall a measure of flour be sold for a shekel. That's like a fine, big old amount of very fine flour sold for a half of a penny. Like that's ridiculous. Like, you know what you can do with fine flour? You can do a lot. All right. And 2 measures of barley for a shekel in the gates of Samaria. And Alahiah, on whose hand the king leaned, answered the man of the power, and said, behold, if Yahweh would make the windows of heaven, would make the windows in heaven, might this thing be? And he said, behold, thou shalt see it with thine eyes, but shall not eat thereof. Now, here's where the story really kicks in. 4 lepers relate Armenians' flight. What does that mean? There's 4 unclean men. And as we read in the book of Flavius Josephus, if you were unclean, you were not allowed to participate in certain activities, such as, and for the lepers, he suffered them not to come into the city at all, nor to live with any others, as if they were afflicted. They were in effect dead persons. Okay. So unclean men, unclean women had to be set apart. No ifs and buts about it. I feel like that screen is too big. Like, I was trying to make it to where it'd be comfortable for everybody's eyes to see, but I feel like it's even too close for me. I think that's more better. More better. Is that a real way of saying that? More better. It's more better. All right, so we see right here, Flavius Josephus, the law, Masha, tells us that if any man was unclean, he had to be outside the gates. But watch this. We've seen the images of that uncleanliness, okay? We've seen the images of vitiligo, of albinoism, of leprosy, okay? That's the definition of afflicted. We don't need that. That's Nada. That's a book that I'm probably going to order later, and then that's breaking down the blood. Okay, so these are images of men and women who have uncleanliness. All right. Now, how do we know? This is a really good one. Wow, look at this one. You know, not just that one. Look at this one. He around everybody that got skin color. He the only one. Yeah, boy. That's another way we know that. Excuse me. We know that Christ, our Savior, Yahushua, who the world ignorantly and sometimes accidentally calls Jesus Christ. This is another way we know he wasn't white, because everybody else would have been black. And then you got this bright light, no, not making fun of him. You got this bright light complected, kid around all these Negroes in Africa and Egypt and Jerusalem. Oh man, he would have stuck out like a sore thumb for real. So that's really, matter of fact, we're just gonna keep this one up. This is a really good one. We're gonna use this one for our example. All right, see all the Negro featured children, and then we see the one who has vitiligo, albinoism. All right, he's a clean leopard. All right, so let's go back to the scripture. It says what? And there were 4 leprous men at the where? At the entering in of the gate. So they weren't even in the city. They were at the beginning, at the entering in of the gate. They could not come in the city. Why is this important? Because the reality is that Europeans, Caucasians are actually not supposed to be amongst us. We're not supposed to be amongst them. Did we have them with us? Yeah, they were. They were amongst us. All nations operated with Jerusalem at one point in time, but we are the set apart people, and they weren't allowed to be in us. Now we're in the midst of them. That's a part of the curse that Yahweh put on us, that we have to be in their midst, opposed to us being able to have our own set apartness. Now, it don't matter if somebody doesn't like this lesson or not. It's accurate. It's true. Caucasian is a sign, the terminology. Caucasian is a sign of people that come from the Caucasus Mountains. The people that come from the Caucasus Mountains are called clean leopards. They're not infectious. They just don't have vitamin D. They don't have melanin like we do. They're not infectious, though. And the fact of the matter is the Father did separate us, and he did not tell us to be amongst them. All right. Matter of fact, he told us not to have children with them. Okay. Hold that thought. Deuteronomy chapter 7, KJV, Blue Letter Bible. Now, this is just one example. This is the book of Deuteronomy chapter 7, verse 3. Deuteronomy chapter 7, verse 3. Neither shalt thou make marriages with them. Thy daughters thou shalt not give unto his son, nor his daughter shalt thou take unto thy son. Why? For they will turn away thy son from following me, that they may serve other gods. So will the anger of Yahweh be kindled against you and destroy you suddenly. So interracial marriage, the Most High is very much against, even if people don't like it, or you may have somebody in your family that's of an interracial marriage that, it just is what it is at this point. Now you got to deal with it, and deal with it by teaching the people to keep the Most High's law, statutes, commandments. That's how you deal with it. All right. Hold that thought real quick. Let's get the book. Tobit chapter 4, KJV. We're going to get the book of Tobit chapter 4. I'm going to scroll all the way down to about verse, 12. Tobit chapter 4, verse 12. Now, this is still dealing with interracial marriage. He says what? Beware of all whoredom, my son, and chiefly take a wife of the seed of thy fathers, and take not a strange woman to wife, which is not of thy father's tribe. For we are the children of the prophets, Noah, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Remember, my son, that our fathers from the beginning, even that they all married wives of their own kindred, and were blessed in their children, and their seed shall inherit the land. All right. Hold that thought. Let's do one more. Sirach chapter 26, KJV. All right. Sirach chapter 26. All right. Blessed is the man that hath a virtuous wife, for the number of his days shall be doubled. A virtuous woman rejoiceth her husband, and he shall fulfill the years of his life. This is a very important thing right here. Women, you're supposed to rejoice your husband. All right. You're supposed to rejoice your husband. You're supposed to rejoice in your husband. We know that you all have influxes. Learning how to do this makes you stronger. Women who don't rejoice in their husband, your husband notices it, and we don't like it. I personally don't like it. I'll be like, what is wrong with you? Why you ain't giving me no praises? praise the Lord. All right. Praise your husband. Praise the Lord. All right. All right. And to the women who do it, it makes our hearts flutter. A good wife is a good portion, which shall be given to the portion of them that fear Yahweh, whether a man be rich or poor. If you have a good heart towards the Lord, he shall at all times rejoice with a cheerful countenance. So keep that in mind. All right, let's scroll down. All right. Let's scroll down to, as the sun rises, clear night, pillar, and my son. Here we go. Verse 19. My son, keep the flower of thine age sound. In other words, keep your sexual integrity. The flower of thine age is your sexual strength, your virile, your seed, your power. All right. Keep the flower of your age sound. Don't be a whore and don't be throwing your seed all over the carpet and in the socks and on the floors and on the bed. And don't do that. Keep the flower of your age sound, young man. And give not thy strength unto who? Give not thy strength unto strangers. When thou have gotten a fruitful possession, the fruitful possession will be that good woman through all the field are all the women in all the world. Yeah, a lot of women have done well, but there's one woman that seeds the others. All right. Sow it with thine own what? Sown with thine own seed. Put your sperm inside that woman. I've been learning about ovulation and menstrual cycles and having sex. I've been learning about that. And for what I'm seeing, I've seen an animal. I've seen a scroll to where it's actually better to try to impregnate a woman during the time frame of a full moon, when the moon is at its highest, not when the moon is at its low, not around the time frame of new moon, but when the moon is at its highest, if possible. So I'll share more information on that later. Okay. But trusting in the goodness of thy stock. Okay. So from what we see from verse 19 to 20, all right, we're not to give our seed to strangers. All right. If we take a step back, we've seen Hosea, I'm sorry, it's not Hosea, but Tobit chapter 4, to not, give our seed to strange women, and Deuteronomy chapter 7 telling us not to have sex and give our children, put our seed inside of strangers. Okay. So especially if you're a Levite, if you are a Levite and your father or your mother has a blemish in their skin, you are not allowed to do the ministry of the temple office. I don't care who you are. I have no respect to persons. If a man is a Levite, his mother or his father or any other nation, they were not allowed to do the office of a priest. Y'all need to look into that and stop calling people Levites just because they say that they got Haitian descent. All right. Now, I do believe that, but not every Levite was a priest. Some Levite was floor sweepers. All right. Some Levites cleaned up the doo-doo in the horses' stables, okay? And they definitely would not have been given sacrifices for you if their father or their mother had a blemish in their skin, which is, albinoism, or, if they were Caucasian, okay? All right? So there's that. Do what you want to with it. I ain't gonna stop saying it because it's true. So let's get back to 2 Kings chapter 7, verse 3. There were 4 leprous men at the entering in of the gate. And they said one to another, why sit we here until we die? So they're like, yo, look, man, we're going to sit here. We starving to death. He said, what? If we say we will enter into the city, then the famine is in the city, and we shall die there. So, let's go. They knew they couldn't go into the city, but they said, if we say we're going to go into the city with our leprous selves, ain't no food in there for us. We're going to die. Man, and we just broke the Torah. We just broke the law, so they probably going to kill us. If we sit still here, we die also. There ain't no food out here. We can't go in the city. So watch this. Now, therefore, come and let us fall into the hands of the Syrians. They said, man, let's turn ourselves in. Look, man, we're going to die out here. We can't go in the city. Let's just turn ourselves in. If they save us alive, if they don't kill us, we shall live. And if they kill us, we shall but die. So you see what their predicament is? This is a very funny story. This is one of my favorite stories because I think it's funny. So you got these 4 Levites, not 4 Levites, these 4 lepers. You got these 4 lepers, and they're sitting around. They're like, look, man, if we go in the city, they're going to kill us. All right. There's no food in there. Plus, we done broke the Torah. Look, hey, leopard number 3, leopard number 2, leopard number 1, look, I say if we sit out here, we're gonna die. The other one say, you know what? Well, let's go into let's just go turn ourselves into the Syrians. The Syrians gotta have some food. They a whole army coming against us. They gotta have some food. Well, I mean, worst case scenario, we get there and they find out we Hebrews and they kill us. And see, here's another thing. This law for the leopards, not every nation had this law. Not every nation had this law for being clean and unclean. How do we know? Because America reverences the light, bright white skin. So do Ephraimites, Puerto Ricans, Boricua. When you watch the Puerto Rican TV channels, which I believe the Puerto Rican Taino Indians, the Arawak Indians, that they are the seed of Joseph. I believe that they are the seed of Joseph. That's just my stance. I've seen proof and evidence, and I'm standing on it. So the point of saying that is to say, when you watch their TV, they have all the white. They have the whitest of the white Puerto Ricans on TV. And some of them aren't Puerto Ricans. Some of them are Spaniards. Some of them are Spaniards. And they hide the negro, they hide Yeah, you know what word I'm trying to say. Yeah, the Morano. They hide the Morano. You know, the people from Luisa. They hide them in the background, and they got all the white, light, bright Spaniard, so-called Puerto Ricans. You know, loaf not turned. Okay, they got all them in the forefront. So some nations respect leprosy. America, for example, you have Europeans, lepers in high places, people with medical conditions that they wouldn't even have been able to come inside the city. And we're going to see that. This should also help you to understand how special and how important and how beautiful your skin is. We are beautiful. Our complexion's precious and our melanin's worth more than gold. Man, that song would have been really good to have right now on this week's Torah portion. So anywho, so let's see. So this is what the 4 lepers agree to. All right. He says what? He said, the one says, if they save us alive, we shall live. And if they kill us, we shall but die. We're going to die anyways. Let's take a chance. So they rose up at twilight. They got up at the beginning of sunlight. So this is very important. All right. At the Ra'ash, at the Bakwar, at the beginning of the day. Let's see what this word is right here. I'm having so much fun studying with everybody. It's so much fun. Don't you agree? Nashap. By Nashap. All right. So let's get this word right here for twilight. And this helps us because it helps us to understand the different parts of the day. All right. So we have the word Nashap for twilight. And let's see what time of the day Nashap is. And you all should do this too. By implicating dusk. Oh, excuse me. This is okay. Evening. Okay. When evening breeze prevails. Okay. So this isn't at the beginning of the day. This is at the end of the day. Okay. I apologize. So Nashap, all right, is the opposite of Ra'ash. So we have Ra'ash, beginning of the day, and you have Nashap, the end of the day. I might name one of my children Nashap. Nashap. Nashap, Yah. Evening of Yah. The twilight of Yah. Night of Yah. Yanashap. I like that. Yanashap. All right. Meaning the closing out. I like that. So they rose up at night, towards the nighttime. It says dawning of the morning, dawning of the day, twilight, dark night. Okay. All right. So I got to find out which time frame this was. Twilight, evening, night. Oh, so it could be either one. So in the shop could be evening twilight or it could be morning twilight. Okay, cool. Let's go down to the Jacinius and see what our good teacher Jacinius tells us. Jacinius. All right, the evening twilight, when the colder gale blows, and it shows us that in the shop, let me see, in the shop, by the shop, and I praise Yahweh that we can read our language now. All right, that's wonderful. All right. Hence the darkness of the night, the morning twilight. So it's interchangeable. It could be either one. Okay. So I personally believe that this Nashap was the morning, and I believe it based off of how the story goes. Okay. So watch how the story goes, and then you all tell me, what do you all think? Do you all think? So real quick, let's give an answer. Do you all think that this Nashap, was the beginning of the day, or do y'all think that it was the beginning of the sun rising, or it was towards the sun going down? Do you think it was the Nashap, the morning before the Ra'ash, the head of the day, or do you think it was the Nashap before the Layala, before the night? I think it was the Nashap before the Ra'ash, before the sun came up. I don't think it was the Nashap before the Layala, when the sun goes all the way down. All right. And you got to read the whole story in order to know so. All right. So let me read this real quick. So the brother said, the Water King, may the Most High continue to bless you and bless for blessing us with your obedience to him. Also, I sent you another book as well. You can't make this stuff up. I need to know where you sent it to. All right. I need to know where you sent it to. Okay. I need to know where you sent it to. Because as thou knowest, your brother's a traveling man. Okay. All right. So let me know where you send it to, please. All right. It's good. Okay. Facebook user. It's good. It's good. If you say it's good, it's good. All right. So yeah, let me know. Baba Kushah, please. All right. Yeah. Excellent brother in the ministry, man. Love you, man. All right. So I'm gonna go back to this. I'm gonna put the Torah portion back up and Thawada for your kindness. Okay. So let's put the Caucasian, the albino, and the vitiligo. Okay, wait. Caucasian, vitiligo, albino. Okay, put them all together. All right. So let's go back to 2 Kings. So I think that this Nashap this twilight in the shop. I think this was at the beginning of the day. Now, let me tell you why. Let me tell you why. All right, let's read. And when they rose up by the shop to go unto the camp of the Syrians, and they rose up by the shop in twilight to go to the camp of the Assyrians, And when they would come to the uttermost parts of the camp, behold, there was no man there. All right. So they got there at the early part of the day. There was no, I say at the early part of the day, but don't let me persuade you just by what I'm saying. Listen to the story and see what the story is saying. I'll say, all right. So when they were come in the uttermost part of the camp of Syria, behold, there was no man there. All right. So by the shop. All right. Let's scroll down. For Yahweh, for Elohim or Ath, have made the host of the Syrians to hear the noise of chariots, the noise of horses, even the noise of a great host. And they said one to another, lo, the king of Israel hath hired against us kings of the Hittites, kings of the Egyptians, to come upon us. Wherefore they arose and fled in the twilight. I think this word is probably in the shop also. All right. So they arose in the shop. So what the Syrians heard was the Most High. This is amazing. The Most High made them to hear a great noise of an army rushing at them. So it was like they must have hired all the Hamites. They must have hired all the Canaanites on the continent to come and war against us. Come on, y'all. Let's get out of here. Right? Look at this. And they left in the shop and left their tents and their horses and their asses, even the camp as it was, and fled for their lives. So they rather run. They heard a great, this is how wonderful Elohim is for us. He loved us so much, he made the other camp hear a great delusion. He made them hear a great spell. And he heard, and I didn't say a great spell, I apologize. He made them to hear a great sound of a great army. And they bugged out so bad, they left their entire military base. That's like you go and it's like, yo, we starving and we hungry. All right, man. Well, let's walk to the Air Force base or to the local military base and find out, man, if they're gonna give us some food, or if they're gonna arrest us, or if they're gonna kill us, you know. And then you get to the military base and you find it empty, and it's like, yo, where's everybody at? They left their vehicles, they left their weapons, they left their tents with everything in it. They left their vessels with food and water still. They left, that's a big thing. They left their food. Boy, they left everything. Isn't that amazing? Now watch this. And when the lepers came to the utmost parts of the camp, they went into one tent. So they get there, they like, hey, shalom, shalom. Is anybody Bahabayaf? Anybody home? Anybody in house? Hey, shalom. Hey, ain't nobody here. Hey, leopard number 3. Is anybody over there? Ain't nobody here. Yo, look at these. Yo, what? Look at the fire. The fire's still. Somebody got to be here. Wait, somebody. And y'all know Israel. Y'all know Judah. We do this thing, right? So where we be like, let's go ahead and see what that's about. We do this thing. Let's see what that's about. We look around first, right? Look, they went into one tent and did eat and drink. Look at this. And carried thence silver. Man, sure, man, this food good, man. Hold on, wait. Man, look, man. Get up out of here. Sure, I don't know where they went, but I'll tell you that. They starting to look. I still got plenty of room in my. I got plenty. Hold on, wait a minute now. Hold on. And that's what they did. How beautiful is that? All right, open Google, open YouTube. How beautiful is that? All right, and they carried silver thence. Wait a minute, what else? And gold and raiment, and went and hid it. What? And they went and hid it. Yo, this is amazing. So they went from tent to tent. Now keep this in mind. Beforehand, these boys were starving. Beforehand, these boys was outside of the city gate. All right. They was like, look, we can't go in the city. If we go in the city, they're going to kill us. We done broke the law of Mashah. All right. As we just read in Flavius Josephus, the lepers were not allowed to even be in the city. All right. Plus, there was a famine. So what we going to do? We're going to go in there and then they're going to stone us? Nah. If we stay out here, we're going to die. Let's go to the military base and see if they help us. Then you get there and find out that they don't left all their stuff. You know what them Negroes did? Now, they was leopards. You know what they did? Shoot. Start packing up stuff. I think I did put something in my pocket. Look at that. See how quick it happens? Look. And carried then silver and gold and raiment and went and hid it. Look. And came again. And they did it more than once. They ain't just hit one lick. They hit a couple licks. And entered into another tent. And carried thence also and went and hid it. You can't make this stuff up. Yo, this is amazing. Yo, I love this story because, first of all, I think it's a comedy. Now, what I'm going to do is, just off of a whim, I'm going to see if I can find a visual of this. All right? That would be really cool if there was a visual of this, man. Man, you know what? Somebody needs to do a play about this. Somebody in HAFTARAH needs to do a story. I would really love to start working with Israelites on doing videos like short plays. You know, that would be so cool just to take certain snips and it'd be us, our personality, our character doing it. It'd be like, yeah, hey, I have a mouthful of food. Like, man, I believe, man, I left all this stuff. What did I do on it? I would love that, man. So if it's anybody working on movies or films in HAFTARAH, you know, you can hire your boy Karate Zaya. I mean, I do the work for the ministry for the little low to nothing. Okay, all right. The scripture says workman is worthy is hired. You don't got to pay me actor prices, but you know, let me get something, bro. All right. So candle's starting to go out. So I don't want my candle to go out. All right, so, but that would be cool if we could have found a video clip on that. That would have been pretty fun. All right, just to watch for a second. So let's get back to this. All right, and when these lepers came to the othermost parts of the camp, they went into one tent and did eat and drink and carried then silver and gold and raiment. That's clothes. They had clothes all over. They had garments on their shoulders. I ain't got no garments. Like, man, hold on, wait a minute now. Look at these pictures. Ooh, this one got jewels on it. This is rubies? Oh. They carrying stuff away. All right. So they carrying stuff away. So they got gold and jewels and silver and raiment and went and hid it and came again and entered into another tent and carried it thence and went and hid it. Then said they one to another, we do not well. Man, this ain't right. Man, this ain't right, man. Yo, everybody back in Jerusalem starving. We over here getting gold. We over here getting silver. We got these new. Hey, listen. They had on new clothes. You can put this on right now. Wait a minute. Whoa, what is this, a Levitical? Wait, whoa. Whoa, man, the Lord surely is good, y'all. I told y'all we should come to the camp. It was my idea. You know it was my idea, right? You said we should go to Jerusalem. You said we should stay outside. I said we should come. Listen. I'm the president of all of us unclean men. It was my idea. So they getting a Levitical raiment on. So this is hilarious. This is hilarious to me in my head. But then eventually I was like, you know what? This ain't right. We do not well. This ain't right. They said what? This day is a day of good tithings. We would hold our peace. Man, come on, man. Look, if we tarry, watch this, till the morning light, some mischief will come upon us. Now, therefore, come and let us wait. because I'm doing a time frame in my head, right? All right, so they did good tidings, and we hold our peace. Come on, man, this ain't right, man. We gotta go tell the people. If we tarry till the morning light, some mischief will come upon us. Now, therefore, come, that we may go and tell the king's household. Verse 10. So they came and called unto the porter of the city, and they told him, saying, we came to the camp of the Syrians, and behold, there was no man there, neither voice of man, but horses tied, and asses tied, and tents as they were. Now, did they enter into the city? No, they did not. They came and called unto the porter of the city. Now, what's a porter? A porter is a person that runs and gives information. If you've ever been in the county, I got to use that example, county, if you've ever been in prison, if you've ever been in summer camp, if you've ever been in military, any institution, you usually have a person that relays messages, or, you know, a person that might go and get things and bring things back. Well, that's called a porter. All right. So they didn't even go in the city. Now, imagine this. They get back and they got to look, hey, so we just came back from the camp of the Syrians, and I don't know what to tell y'all, but we full. you got some, okay, some crumbs on your beard. We full. So they go to the porter and they tell him, and they, what you mean? Now remember, at this time, everybody in Jerusalem is starving except for these 4 lepers. All right, and the porter of the city. And they told him, saying, we came to the camp of the Syrians, and behold, there was no man there, neither voice of man, but horses tied and asses tied, and tents as they were. And tents as they were, walking into a city, and ain't nobody in there. And they called the porters, and they told them to the king's house within. And the king arose in the night. So that's why I said I believe that this event with the leopards, what the leopards did, it happened. They left at the very beginning of the day, and then they got to the camp, and then they were there all day eating, getting garments, because they had to take time to hide stuff. They weren't there for 2 days. They were only there for 1 day. See? So the king arose in the night. That's why I say I believe that twilight, because we see it's interchangeable. It could be twilight in the morning or twilight in the evening. All right. So that's why I say I believe, because, you know, and then I don't even believe they were there all day, because the one leper says, if we stay here till the morning, you know, then some evil will befall us. So we see that they left that same day. So that's my stance. Let me see what you all think. Well, let me see what you all say. All right. All right. Let's see. G to G, I have to watch later. Okay, it's all good. Okay, all praise. Most High's will, man. See you soon. All right, shalom. Okay, so no answers. Nobody knows what time. Nobody believes what time of day it was. Okay, well, no worries. Sometimes maybe you just didn't get a chance to answer. Maybe you're so entertained that you didn't get a chance to answer yet. All right. So let's get back to the reading. All right. So 2 Kings. And the king arose in the night and said unto his servants, I will now show you what the Syrians have done to us. All right. They know that we be hungry, therefore are gone out of the camp to hide themselves in the field, saying, when they come out of the city, we will catch them alive and get into the city. So what the king says, he's like, nah, it's a trap. All right. And one of the servants answered and said, let some take, I pray thee, 5 of the horses that remain, which are left in the city. Behold, they are all as the multitude of Israel that are left in it. Behold, I say, they are even as all the multitude of the Israelites that are consumed. So he says, look, we only got a couple horses. Let's take a couple of these starving horses that we got in Jerusalem, right? And let us send and see. All right, so we starving, a horse is starving. At least let's go check it out. Let's at least take the horses that's left. All right. They took, therefore, 2 chariot horses, and the king sent after the host of the Syrians, saying, go and see. Verse 15. And they went after them unto Jordan, and lo, all the way was full of garments and vessels which the Syrians had cast in their haste. And the messengers returned and told the king. And the people went out and spoiled the tents of the Syrians. So a measure of flour was sold for a shekel, and 2 measures of barley for a shekel, according to the word of Yahweh. And the king appointed Yahweh on whose hand he leaned to have charge of the gate, and the people trode upon him in the gate, and he died, as the man of Allah has said, who spoke when the king came down to him. All right, so we see the prophecy was fulfilled. All right, we're going to finish reading that at verse 20. Okay, so that's verse 17, verse 18. And it came to pass, as the man of Allah spoke to the king, saying, 2 measures of barley for a shekel, and a measure of fine flour for a shekel shall be tomorrow about this time in the gate of Samaria. Verse 19. And Yahweh answered the man of Allah answered the man of Adan power, Allah, and said, behold, if Yahweh should make the windows of heaven, might such a thing be? And he said, behold, thou shalt see it with thine eyes, but shalt not eat thereof. And so he fell out and so it fell out unto him, for the people trode upon him at the gate, and he died. All right. So that's this week's Torah portion. One of my favorite stories. What else do we see? I like the humor in it, but we also see that Yahweh used leopards. He used unclean men, 5 unclean men, to provide for our entire nation, to feed our entire nation. So Yahweh can do anything. All right. Now, maybe it would have went differently for the king if the king would have said, hey, you know what? The Most High can do anything. You're right. Maybe it would have went different from him. Maybe he wouldn't have, been trod upon. I don't know why the father killed him, but maybe it's because it was his disbelief. I don't know. But that's this week's Torah portion pertaining to the prophet portion. I'm going to take a pause. We're going to come back, do a second video. Make sure you share this with your friends, your families. All right. Make sure you hit that like button. Make sure you subscribe. We're on Facebook. We're on YouTube, streaming at the same time on both sides. All right. So what we're going to be doing is I'm going to be taking a quick break. Then we're going to be coming back. When we come back, what we're going to do is we're going to have another Torah portion reading. All right, so today is the first day of the week. So, it's a good day to go over the recap. Again, our brother Joshua Isaac, also known as Yahweh Shai, did an excellent job yesterday in his ministry. All right, so we're going to learn more about uncleanliness. All right, when we come back, we'll read the gospel portion. And then we'll end this video, this 3-part video off. We'll end it off by reading the law portion. And when we come to the law portion, it's going to be a lot more detail. All right, we're going to go more into that Flavius Josephus. So if you watch this portion, make sure you come back. All right, don't be on CSI. Don't be on, watching stuff that, watch something that's going to feed you for right now. Okay, we only got a little bit of time together. And I pray everybody rested well on the Shabbat. I know I did. I slept like a baby the entire Sabbath day. Once we weren't able to get on, I was able to check out Zaquan Yahweh Shai's video. And I was listening to him, and before I knew it, I had 2 babies on my chest, and I was sunken deep in the couch in a sunken place. All right, I woke up, where am I? What happened? So I rested well on the Shabbat. All right, so make sure that you come back for the second video where we'll be reading the gospel, which will be very short. We'll probably end that off very soon, and then we'll go to the law portion next. All right, and again, showing Flavius Josephus, Antiquity of the Jews. I'll probably be on for a while today. I think I need to address some issues, I haven't addressed yet, and this might just be the right time to do it. All right, I think it is. All right, y'all, Baruch Hashem, how about Shem HaShagal Shai? All right, again, make sure you like and subscribe, share this video out with others. All right, and if you have the house of Karat Zayah, your device should be on watching these lessons. All right, Shalom, Kwame Yashrala. See you in a moment.